Hi guys, welcome to this video. If you are new here, my name is Rachelle. Today in this video, I'm going to be showing you all the books I want to read in the month of May. I feel like I haven't done a TBR video in forever. I don't know, I kind of just find it a little bit hard for me to pick up the next few books that I want to read at the top of the month because the books I decide to read, I kind of pick in the moment depending on what I'm feeling. So to pick out books at the top of the month and to stick to that reading plan is kind of difficult for me because a lot of the times I feel like I end up picking up different books than I actually plan to read. Yeah, so that's why I haven't done many TBRs recently, but for the month of May, I am determined to stick to a reading plan. So for my May TBR, I have picked out 6 books, and in this video, I'm going to share with you what those 6 books are. But before we get into this video, if you guys haven't already done so, be sure to subscribe to my channel, click the bell icon to stay up to date of when and what I post, and give this video a thumbs up. And without further ado, let's get into my May TBR. The first book in my May TBR is All About Love by Bell Hooks. This is a non-fiction self-help book. It is a book that just tells you all about love. It talks about all different types of love, self-love, romantic love, friendship love, and so many more definitions of love. I am already 68 pages into this book, so by the end of this month, I want to finish this book. Let me just read you the back of this book. The word love is most often defined as a noun, yet we would all love better if we used it as a verb, writes Bella Hooks as she comes out fighting and on fire in All About Love. Here, at the most provocative and intensely personal, the renowned scholar, cultural critic, and feminist skewers our view of love as romance. In its place, she offers a proactive new ethic for a people and a society bereft with lovelessness. As Bell Hooks uses her incisive mind and razor-sharp pen to explore the question, what is love? Her answers strike at both the mind and heart. In 13 concise chapters, Hooks examines her own search for emotional connection and society's failure to provide a model for learning to love. Raising the cultural paradigm that the ideal love is infused with sex and desire, she provides a new path to love that is sacred, redemptive, and healing for individuals and for a nation. I feel like I can learn a lot from this book, and that's why I started to read it. And so far, I can say that it has given me clarity on love, and it has given me examples on love in real life that I could actually connect to. The next book in this TBR is a book that just came out, and it is Happy Place by Emily Henry. This is a literary fiction novel with a little bit of romance in it. If I'm gonna be completely honest, I was a little hesitant to start this book because I have read all of Emily Henry's books so far, and I have mixed feelings about it. I read Emily Henry's book People We Meet on Vacation, and I didn't like it at all. And I also read Book Lovers, which I didn't like as well. Really, the only Emily Henry book I liked was Beach Read, and the fact that I only liked one of her books, last year I kind of decided to give up on Emily Henry, but then one of my friends told me that she absolutely loved this book, and I've heard nothing but good things about this book on Book Talk and BookTube, so here I am reading it, and hopefully by the end of this book, it will change my mind about Emily Henry. To tell you what this book is about, Harriet and Wynne have been the perfect couple since they met in college. They go together like salt and pepper, honey and tea, lobster and rolls. Except now, for reasons they're still not discussing, they don't. They broke up 5 months ago and still haven't told their best friends, which is how they find themselves sharing a bedroom at the main cottage that has been their friend group's yearly getaway for the last decade. Their annual sprite from the world where for one vibrant, blissful week, they leave behind their daily lives, have copious amounts of cheese, wine, and seafood, and soak up the salty coastal air with the people who understand them most. Only this year, Harriet and Wynne are lying through their teeth while they try not to notice how desperately they still want each other, because the cottage is for sale and this is the last week they'll all have together in this place. They can't stand to break their friend's heart, so they play their parts. Harriet will be the driven surgical resident who never starts a fight, and Wynne will be the laid-back charmer who never lets the cracks show. After years of being in love, how hard can it be to fake it for 1 week in front of those who know you best? This book was actually really hard for me to put down today to start filming this video, and I think actually when I finish filming this video, I'm gonna go back to reading this book because it just sounds so good. The next book is a newly released book. It's a book that I don't have a physical copy of yet, but I did order it and it just hasn't arrived yet. And this book is titled Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune. This is a romance novel and it screams summer vibes to me, so I'm so excited to read it right now because the summer months are almost here. Also, Carly Fortune is a Canadian author and she puts Canadian references into her book, so I'm so excited for that as well because if you don't know, I am Canadian. Carly Fortune's also having like a book tour for this book and she's coming to Toronto and I plan on going to her book event, so I'm so excited for it and I'm really hoping I can get my book signed by her. Anyways, this book is about Fern. She has wasted far too much of her adult life thinking about Will Baxter. She spent just 24 hours in her early 20s with the aggravatingly attractive, idealistic artist, a chance encounter that spiraled into a day-long adventure in Toronto. The timing was wrong, but their connection was undeniable. They shared every secret, every dream, and made a pact to meet 1 year later. Fern showed up, Will didn't. At 32, Fern's life doesn't look at all how she once imagined it would. Instead of living in the city, Fern's back home running her mother's Muskoka Lakeside Resort, something she vowed never to do. The place is in disarray, her ex-boyfriend's the manager, and Fern doesn't know where to begin. To her surprise, it comes in the form of Will, who arrived 9 years too late, with a suitcase in tow and an offer to help on his lips. Will may be the only person who understands what Fern is going through, but how could she possibly trust this expensive suit-wearing mirage who seems nothing like the young man she met all those years ago? Will is hiding something and Fern's not sure she wants to know what it is. But 10 years ago, Will Baxter rescued Fern. Can she do the same for him? I'm really excited to read this book, and I'm actually really craving a romance read right now, so I think this book would be a good fit for my May TBR. The next book I want to read this month is a book that is very popular on TikTok right now, and that book is Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. I've actually heard mixed reviews about this book. Some people love it, and for others, it's just not for them. So I'm a little nervous to start this book because obviously I really want to love the books I read. I did hear this book is like a British version of Gossip Girl, so the story can be obnoxious, dramatic, and toxic, and it definitely seems like a book that you really have to be in the mood for it to read it. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that I will actually get to this book. The back of the book doesn't really tell you what this book is about, so I'm just gonna look on Goodreads for the book description. She is a beautiful, self-involved, and mildly neurotic London socialite. He is Britain's most photographed bad boy who broke her heart. But Magnolia Parks and BJ Ballantyne are meant to be, and everyone knows it. They're in the stars, just suspended in a strange kind of love that looks like hurting each other a lot of the time. She dates other people to keep him at bay, he sleeps with other girls to get back at her for it. But at the end of their every sad endeavor to get over one another, it's still each other they crawl back to. But their dysfunction is catching up with them, pulling at their seams and fraying the world they've built. A world where neither has to ever let the other go completely. As the cracks start to show and secrets begin to surface, Magnolia and BJ are finally forced to face the question they've been avoiding all their lives. How many loves do you really get in a lifetime? This book gives me huge Blair Waldorf and Chuck Bass vibes, and I'm so here for it. The next book on my TBR is a book that I feel like I talk a lot about on my channel, but I just haven't read yet, and that book is Apples Never Fall by Leanne Moriarty. I've just got to add a mystery thriller novel to this TBR because I absolutely love mystery thrillers. To read you the back of this book, if your mother was missing, would you tell the police, even if the most obvious suspect was your father? The Delaney's are fixtures in their community. Their parents, Stan and Joy, are the envy of all their friends. After 50 years of marriage, they finally sold their famed tennis academy and are ready to start what should be the golden years of their lives. So why are Stan and Joy so miserable? One night, a stranger named Savannah knocks on Stan and Joy's door, bleeding after a fight with her boyfriend. The Delaney's are more than happy to give her the small kindness she sorely needs. But when Joy goes missing, Savannah is nowhere to be found and the police question Stan. Two of the Delaney children think their father is innocent, two are not so sure. What is clear is that all the Delaneys will need to re-examine their family history in a new light. This book definitely has a lot of family drama, and I think there's something so special about family dramas. It's just something about the dynamic of the family that just speaks to me. I'm really excited to read this. Although this book is a 450-page book, I usually don't read mystery thrillers that are that long. I feel like the mystery thrillers I usually read are under 400 pages long. So this is a little bit of new territory for me and I'm a little nervous for it, but I am excited to give this book a try. The last book in my May TBR is a book that has been sitting on my shelf for a really long time, and that book is Beautiful World, Where Are You by Sally Rooney. I've heard good things about this book. I don't think I've heard anything bad about it yet, but I've been putting off reading this book because I feel like with Sally Rooney books, you really have to be in the mood to read them. I don't know what about it makes me think that way about Sally Rooney books. I think maybe it's because Sally Rooney's characters are just so broken and morally gray that it sometimes parallels real life. So I feel like her books are a little bit tougher reads, but when I read this book, I think I will actually love it. It's actually going to be picking it up that's going to be hard. That's also one of the reasons why I put on my May TBR, because I feel like this book just needs to get read at this point. Again, this is another book that doesn't have the book description on the back, so I'm going to pull up Goodreads. Alice, a novelist, meets Felix, who works in a warehouse, and asks him if he'd like to travel to Rome with her. In Dublin, her best friend Aline is getting over a breakup and slips back into flirting with Simon, a man she has known since childhood. Alice, Felix, Aline, and Simon are still young, but life is catching up with them. They desire each other, they delude each other, they worry about sex and friendship and the times they live in. Will they find a way to believe in a beautiful world? Yeah, so I'm excited to give this book a try. With Sally Rooney books though, I think it's either a hit or a miss because I didn't like Conversation with Friends, but I did like Normal People, so hopefully I will like Beautiful World, Where Are You? Alright guys, these are all the books I want to read this month. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing all the books on my May TBR. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys have read any of these books and what you think about about them. Also, just for fun, if you want, comment down below what you are currently reading. I would love to hear what you're currently up to. And with that, I hope you guys have a lovely day wherever you are, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!
Pull the key out the ignition, run your mouth but I never listen. You hold me back, will never last, keep talking all your shit. Wondering how all this started, you left me broken hearted. You flip my words, yeah this love hurts, keep talking all your shit.